Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Happy Labor Day, guys. How we doing?
Labor Day, Jenny. How you been Labor Day? How you doing, Skip?
Boy, the Lakers were laboring last night, weren't they?
I can't tell.
Yeah.
We gotta know.
Boy, the Lakers were lucky last night, weren't they?
How you like my you like the Labor Day outfit?
I don't know. I'm looking at Jenny right now.
You ain't looking at Oh, look at this. I brought the good stuff because I knew you. Yeah, you're Labor Day.
You're gloating about that?
Yeah, summer's officially over. And I'm glad.
That's all. It's come to this for Undisputed. Okay.
Thank you for pointing that out, Shannon. That is what it's come to. Guys, we have so much to talk about from the weekend, so let's get to it. After dropping game one on Friday, the Lakers evened up the series against the Rockets last night at a game apiece. LA saw their 16-point halftime lead evaporate into a deficit in the third quarter, but fought back in the fourth behind LeBron's 8 points to go on and win 117-109. LeBron finished with 28 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 blocks. So, Shannon, what was the biggest reason the Lakers won?
And the fourth steal. You left out the fourth steal, Jenny. That's important.
Sorry about that.
I mean, we need a complete stat line, right, Skip? When you go get a physical, you get a complete battery or workup. You know, you get blood pressure. You get all that stuff, right, Skip?
I wouldn't know. I never did.
LeBron led the way last night. He was aggressive. He took it upon himself. Yes, I'm going to get people involved. AD, I need you to do your thing, but I'm going to make sure I get myself involved. He was driving to the basket. He realizes, look, I have a decided advantage over whomever is guarding me. Either they're too small or they don't have enough sandbags in their back pocket. They can't weight themselves down, anchor themselves down to keep me from attacking the rim. So he was in attack mode last night. He got a couple of 3 balls to drop, Skip. You know, sometimes it's a blessing and a curse. He watch one of those things fall, and then, you know, he be wanting the heat check.
You actually made an objective point.
But I thought he played extremely well last night, Skip. That pace that the Rockets play at, Skip, yeah, they're small. So if they're small, what must they do? They can't get into a whole bunch of half-court sets. They need to get up and down to give themselves an advantage, especially if you have bigs on the court. I think Frank Vogel is learning this is not the series for traditional big men. Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee probably not going to play as much as they would like to play, Skip. But I thought LeBron having to play 39 minutes, Skip, and you're asking a man his size. So just imagine if you ask Karl Malone, say, mailman, we need you to play 40 minutes tonight, but we need you to do John Stockton's role also. We need you to run the point. We need you to make sure we get in and out of sets. And as a matter of fact, you know, we want you to guard one of these small guys on the perimeter from time to time. And he was able to do that. I thought LeBron played unbelievable. AD played unbelievable. The first half, Skip, I don't think they could have played any better than what they played the first half. They did a great job of mixing it up. They were jumping in and out of zone. They were playing man coverage. But we know one thing about the Houston Rockets, Skip. They're going to take a bunch of threes. And you just, like, Skip, when you flying and the pilot come on, we're about to incur, get a little turbulence. And so what do you say? Well, I sure hope this thing don't last long. So you just brace for it. You know the onslaught is coming. You just brace for it. They put up 20, they got 22 threes total. They made 9 in the third quarter. So you just hope, I got myself a little cushion, they don't just blow us out of the water. LeBron then braced for that thing, and then in the fourth quarter, Skip said he loved fourth quarter. He loved guys that shows up in the fourth quarter. He talked about how Donovan Mitchell showed up in the fourth quarter. He talked about Jamal Murray. He talked about some of the greats. You always count on Kobe and Mike. Mike got showed up in the fourth quarter and put on a virtuoso. And defense. Skip, did you notice my guy in year 17, how he's sliding his feet, moving side to side, up and back, front to back? Brought me a little, I just wanted to put me a little package together. You know, a little package, a little package. And let's take a look at the little package we got together.
Oh, I thought you were almost finished.
No, right here. Look at this, Skip.
Well, now the show's going to be over.
Oh, no, Skip. I keep telling you, you can't sneak apple juice into my type of party. I'm going to throw it up out of there. I'm going to throw it and you out of there. And you saw what he did on Friday night. Poor Russ. Russ said, I can't even catch a break. But I thought LeBron, AD was unbelievable. They got great contribution from Keith Morris and Kyle Kuzma and Rondo. Ooh, that'll play our Rondo, Skip. But, we won one, about to be 2-1. You don't think so?
My turn?
Your turn.
So, at the end of Friday's show, who went way out onto the end of the limb and predicted that Houston would win game 1? Who did that on this show?
You did scarily.
I did.
Scarily.
I did it.
Scary.
I did it. I said it's going to be a huge upset, and it was.
Okay.
Then what did I tweet ahead of last night's game? The Lakers will win tonight because they had better win tonight. That was a game they almost had to win.
No such thing with LeBron on the court.
Yeah, we'll see about that. So you said LeBron was unbelievable.
Yes.
AD was unbelievable.
Yes.
Friday night, LeBron James in the fourth quarter of a winnable game went 0 for 3. I'm just putting this into context.
Okay.
He owed his team, and he looked like it at the start of last night's fourth quarter because he had that scared look on his face. He was doing this. Oh, I better attack the basket like I know I have to, and if they foul me, I got to go to the free throw line, and I got to try to make a free throw.
Well, that's what he did.
You know, and I know he has some trouble with late game free throws, and the later it gets in the fourth quarter, he has a whole lot of trouble.
What about last night?
Late game. Well, once they're front running on the lead.
See, there you go.
Well, that's just it. Was it tied? Was it close? No. When he made his 2 free throws in the fourth,
They were down to start the fourth, remember?
Okay. I said that.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you 1 plus mark here.
Okay.
LeBron to start the fourth said, I have to attack. And it wasn't like a huge onslaught of attacking. The first play out of the fourth quarter, he just said, I'm going to put my head down and drive this.
Right.
I tell you again and again and again and again and again and again, he's still the greatest driver of the basketball ever. He can freight train to the basket like nobody can. And he freight trained, and Jeff Green, who had a kind of a disappearing act night last night, usually he's a key factor for them, he just sort of watched LeBron, let him go right by and go up and dunk it. At least Jeff Green could have gotten his way and at least fouled him, make him shoot those
Well, he
free
tried
throws.
to make him pump, Skip. I mean, I don't think he thought LeBron was going to dunk it.
Whatever he did not get in his way at all. Maybe he still loves LeBron because they used to be
There you
teammates.
go. Come on, Skip.
I don't know. I don't know. So now let's put last night in the grandest context. The Lakers were down 0-1, and they have an onslaught of an explosion of their own in the first quarter going into the second quarter. And who knew that not Marcus Morris, but Markieff, his twin brother, would hit 4 3-point shots last night? Who knew that? He hit 3 in about 1 minute and 11 seconds. Yeah. And that was the difference that sparked and it just detonated a run that put the Lakers up 42-21. That's a 21-point lead with 10:39 left in the second quarter. And I thought, this is way over. Didn't you think that?
No.
Oh, I did. These are the Lakers that Shannon Sharpe says are prohibitive favorites to win this year's championship. These are the tiny little Rockets, the little miniature Rockets. And I'm thinking, AD's going to get whatever he wants. They got hot hands. I'm thinking this is going to be the blowout of blowouts. And what happened from that moment on until the 3:25 mark of the third quarter? That's only about a quarter and a half of basketball. What happened over that stretch? Would you believe the Rockets won that stretch of the game 64-38? Think about that. Yeah. LeBron, unbelievable. AD, unbelievable. They got wiped off the court for a quarter and a half to the tune of 64-38. I want everybody out there to let that sink in. The Lakers gave up a 64-38 run to the little tiny Rockets. That's a bad sign. That was actually a moral victory for the underdog.
What do we know about the Houston Rockets, Skip? What do we know about the Rockets? What have you said about the Rockets? They're going to take, and if they shoot 35-40%, you're in trouble. Before last night, teams that had made at least 22 threes in a playoff game were 18-2. So that's 90%. So you rarely lose. So they made all those threes.
How many did they make in the fourth quarter? That's all that matters.
That's my point. Skip. Skip, let me ask you a question.
What happened?
You have to weather the storm, remember?
You got lucky. They cooled off. In fact, they went ice cold in the fourth quarter. They made 2 of 12 in the fourth quarter, and you got off the hook.
So, but you didn't say anything about when they made 9 in the third quarter. You didn't say they got hot. See, all you do is look at the negative. What about the positive that they did in the third quarter?
64-38.
Okay,
That's a bad sign, man. And good teams don't give up a 64-38 run to an underdog.
I know a team that played on Saturday night. What run did they give up?
They gave it up in the first quarter, and then what happened?
Hold on.
Here they came.
So is that a part of the game?
They stormed back.
No, hold on. Let me ask you a question. Is that a part of the game so they're not 4 quarters in the game?
This was in reverse. This is, we get the big lead, and we get blown off the floor.
Y'all did. Y'all got a big lead. Y'all lost.
That's the Lakers. So here's the point of what happened last night. My team, the Rockets, was stuck with Russell Westbrook. And your team, the Lakers, should be very thankful he was a Rocket last night. Russell grew up in Southern California, not too far from where we sit right now, a huge Lakers fan. And last night he played like he was a huge Lakers fan.
Stop.
It was eyesore shocking. I've never seen such a display of turnovers, out of control, nightmare turnovers, 7 turnovers. And you want to talk about Westbrook? Whew. Westbrook after Westbrook after Westbrook. He was the reason they lost. He was the biggest reason you won. He was your MVP last night.
Well, hello. Where did this come? I didn't see you tweet that on Friday night when he played well.
No, I tweeted and tweeted and tweeted. You should follow me. You should give me a follow today. Go back and look at my timeline. I dare anybody out there, go back and look at my timeline. I kept tweeting about Russell Westbrook is going to lose this game for the Rockets. They won the Friday night game 1 in spite of him and his turnovers and his out-of-control play.
And
even Russell, who's like as proud and arrogant as they come, he's a warrior, and even he admitted that right now, I'm just running around out there. I got to look at the film and try to figure out how to be efficient. He was nightmarish last night.
Right.
And you should have been applauding every dribble that he took.
Why?
Because he would just, when he did decide to drive it, he'd try to drive it between 3 Lakers and lose it.
Right.
If he did get in the lane successfully, he would wheel and throw it to nobody because he had no plan.
Right.
He's completely out of control. And if you look at what has happened to Russell Westbrook in the 5 playoff games he's played so far, just go back. Go back to the 25 games before the pandemic hit. He was rolling.
Right.
He's averaging, in those 25 games, he was 32 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists.
Yeah.
Not exactly Oklahoma City triple-double for a whole year numbers, but still the 32 points and 8 and 7, shooting 52.7% from the field. That's extraordinary. That's championship basketball for the Rockets.
Right.
And all of a sudden, remember what happened? He tested positive.
Right.
He had COVID.
Yeah.
And then he hurt his quad. I don't know if it was just bruised or pulled or whatever it was, and he missed the first 4 playoff games against OKC. And then he came back, and guess what he's done since he came back? The guy who was averaging 32 for 25 games before the pandemic is now averaging 15.6 and a grand total of 4.4 assists through 5 playoff games. He is shooting 39% from the field after 52.7 in those 25 games. He's now shooting for the playoffs 17% from 3, and he's making a grand total of 47% of his free throws. These are numbers you cannot overcome. These are loser numbers. As hard as he plays, as much as he will rebound, and he did lead them in rebounds last night with 13, I will give him that. He has become an offensive liability. What were you able to do that you didn't do in game 1 last night? You doubled James. Why were you able to successfully do that? Because usually he just gives it up to Russ, and it's flying at the basket, and he's going to dunk it or get to the free throw line. Last night, I don't know what got into him. Russell Westbrook just stood still, caught the ball. They dared him, which they should. They should all 5 Lakers should just go sit underneath the basket when he's got the ball.
So in other words, they did to Russell what the Rockets had did to Rondo on Friday night. Dare him to shoot.
Well, that was his first game that he had played.
But Skip, you just mentioned the man had COVID. The man had a strained hamstring, a quad, and so he's trying to get back in shape, but you don't factor that in. So what the hell was Rondo? Rondo missed 6 months, remember?
I don't really care right now about Rondo because he helped you more than he hurt you.
But Skip, see, that's the thing, though. You said, okay, Rondo helped us last night. What about Friday night? Russ helped them Friday night. Then all you do is harp on the net. Come on, get a guy credit.
Okay, I give him credit. Rondo played great last night.
Yes. Yes.
He was a big factor last night, and his on-ball defensive James bothered James because he stole it from him once and laid it up, picked his pocket. And James has a little bit of trouble with Rondo because he can't get his handle going as smoothly. But still, they doubled James much of the night.
Yes.
And James still had a very good game, right?
Yeah.
That'll work.
He's James Harden.
Yeah, I'll take that. And yet, once he doubled, Russ would just stand at the three-point line, and Russell attempted the most threes he's attempted since Christmas Day. Think about that. That is just wrong, wrong, wrong. And he obviously went 1 for 7 from 3.
Right.
In the fourth quarter, he had 3 wide-open threes. Just wide open. Just here, we dare you.
Yes.
Go ahead, Russ.
Right.
Shoot it. He missed all 3 of them. That's a potential 9 points. What's the final score of this game?
So let me get this right, Skip. They make 22 of 53 threes. You want them to make 30.
Well, Markieff Morris made 4, so sometimes people have aberration nights.
Okay, what about P.J. Tucker? Remember the last game he played? He was 1 for 7. I mean, he might have been over from the three-point line. He drove the ball and put it in. Last night, he was 4 for 7. Are you factoring into that? All you do is factor in when guys of the Lakers play well. But you don't factor in when any of the other auxiliary guys play well for other teams.
I care about all those. I care about Russell Westbrook is the co-star of the Houston Rockets, and right now he is killing them. If you look at their starting lineup last night, if you look at the first 4 besides Russ, look at the numbers they put up. It goes 8 of 16, 7 of 10, 5 of 10, 6 of 12, and if we go to one bench player, 5 of 10. So that's the 5 best players on the Rockets last night, including Daniel House, go 31 of 58. That's over 50%.
Yes.
And my guy, Russ, he goes 4 of 15 and 1 for 7 from 3. It's a killer. It's suddenly become your Achilles heel is none other than Russell Westbrook.
Well, Skip, if you double a team's best player, you're going to leave someone open, and you're doing that for a reason. Okay. So hopefully we double off of him, and the guy's not making shots. So what, you want to send Russ to the bench?
No, I want them to send him to the hoop, because back in December, January, February.
Yes.
What he did when James got doubled, the ball got kicked to Russ, and all of a sudden it's a super highway to the basket because he can hurt you the way very few 6'3" quote-unquote point guards can hurt you flying to the rim.
Right.
Is he quite as athletic as he used to be? No, he's not. Has he lost some confidence with the basketball in his hands? Yes, he has. But all I wanted to see him do is just attack, attack, attack. If he's standing out there free and there's nobody on him, just attack.
Skip, you do realize that takes a lot of effort to do that, right? It's kind of like a running back. You see Derrick Henry rushes for 180 yards on 25 carries. People automatically assume, why didn't you give it to him 50 times? Well, yeah, that's great logic, but it takes a lot to exert that kind of energy and to just get to the basket time after time after time, absorbing contact after contact. That's unrealistic. As great as Jordan was, could fly through the air. He didn't drive the ball every time. Kobe, as great as he was, he didn't drive the ball every time, Skip. That's unrealistic to say every time a guy gets the ball, because he can drive the ball, he should just drive the ball. You and I both know that's not going to happen because it's unrealistic.
Russell Westbrook, I'm going to call him Brook on this case. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for 3 straight years in Oklahoma City. It's impossibly great, and it's mostly because of extreme energy for 4 quarters.
Yes.
That's how he did that.
Yes.
That's who he is, what he is. He's only 31. He's not like 41.
But that's for Skip. To do that, you know that takes a lot of effort. And he's had a lot of surgeries on those knees. He's not, as you mentioned, he's not as athletic. He's still athletic. I mean, Russ losing some athleticism still puts him at the top of the charts when it comes to athletic point guards. We get that. But you're not taking into any consideration the man had COVID. You're not taking into any consideration he was out for 2 weeks with a strained quad. You don't take any of that. You just think he should just pick right up where he left off. It doesn't happen.
5 playoff games. And yet he had one good moment, and it actually came at the expense of your man LeBron James. It was late in the third quarter, and he had just one moment. If we could see what happened on the baseline, LeBron had him, and all of a sudden he didn't have him. Here's LeBron guarding Russ. LeBron, what are you doing? That was horrible defense. What are you doing?
Oh, so you want to show the... hold on.
Wait, LeBron, what are you doing?
You see what you did? You see what you did?
LeBron's Don't give up the baseline. You just gave up a layup to a 6'3" guy. What are you doing?
Plus, what was Russ doing? Was Russ driving the ball?
Yeah.
So you play the tendencies he normally pulls up. So you're playing.
Normally pulls. I hope he doesn't.
You just said he wasn't driving the ball because he was jacking.
This is the first game I've ever seen him just pull up and pull up and pull up.
Skip, you told me Russ attempted the most threes he had ever attempted since Christmas. Now you want to flip side it. He drives by LeBron, and you say LeBron.
This is his only good moment. Is really the only thing he did right all night. That was it.
So what should Bron have played him for? Since he was jacking up shots all night, what should Bron have played him to do?
What's the cardinal rule of playing defense that you get taught in church league? Don't give up the baseline.
Skip, if a guy's just shooting the shots, Russ was pulling up, shooting threes, shooting the mid-range. He wasn't getting to the basket. So I'm playing him to do that. It's kind of like Harden. It's so hard to guard Harden because he can get by you, he can step back, plus he can pull up. So you're kind of at a disadvantage because you really don't know what he does because he's so herky-jerky. Russ was just pulling up. You just said Russ disappointed you because he was pulling up. Now he goes baseline. Bron, don't give up that. Bron says, well, I'm playing him to shoot it because that's what he's been doing all night.
He was resting. And then he got him back. I'll give you this with that. It was the basic chase down block in the lane. But what was Russ doing? Russ didn't know what he was doing. He got caught, and he decided to go up as he drove to the left and shoot it a little right-handed jump shot in the lane. He goes up to shoot a little right-handed jump shot. We're seeing LeBron do.
Yes, we do want to see. Oh, no. LeBron can still skip. This year 17. How's a man head on the rim in year 17?
I want people to think about this. Russ drives left, and then at the last second decides to go up and shoot a one-handed, right-handed shot right into the teeth of who's coming behind.
But he doesn't know he's coming behind. Okay. How many times do you ever... Let me ask you a question, Skip. How many times have you seen a help side defender come chase down and block a shot in the lane like LeBron did last night? Not very often.
Obviously, if you're 6'3" Russell Westbrook and you're 6'9" LeBron James, Russell has to know he has to shoot that shot left-handed or don't shoot it.
Skip, he had the guy beat. He had beat his guy originally. Yes, he did.
Nope. He was lost. As he said after the game, I just don't know what I'm doing right now.
Okay. Enough about that. Are we going to talk about AD? Oh, we go. No. No. See, you see what you did right there? Oh, he was great. I need that passion. I need that energy when you say all done. I need that right now. I'm gonna let you take it away. AD was magnificent. I'm gonna let you have this. I don't want to talk about AD because AD was magnificent. But I need that passion and energy when you say all done. I need that right now.
My favorite moment of the night came with 32.7 seconds left. And it was LeBron in the lane, if we could see this.
What did he do?
A little
close the door.
A little
close the door.
Fadeaway.
Close the door.
You know, and this is vintage LeBron front runner shot. This is.
Oh, now he front running.
Here he goes.
Now he front running.
Yeah. End of the game. It's a 6-point game. It's over. It's 32 seconds left. They're up 6. And here we go. And LeBron shoots a little fadeaway in the lane. Maybe we don't have it yet, but that's okay.
Oh, no. So it was over. I know a team.
That put them up 8, and he goes beating his chest. Yeah, I did it.
Skip.
I clutch shot him.
Skip, you say it was over.
That was clutch.
Skip, you say it was over. Now, I know a team that was up 5 with 20 seconds. In an NBA Finals Game 6.
Really?
Do you know that team?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that? So the game isn't, hold on. You know what? The Boston Celtics thought it was over with 0.5 seconds on the clock. Was it over, Skip?
I'm glad you brought that game up, that game 6, because last night, LeBron James passed Ray Allen, the great Ray Allen, for 3-point shots made in playoffs, career playoffs.
Yes.
Ray Allen, and it let everybody sit back and remember, that was the guy who saved LeBron's legacy. That was the guy who made the greatest clutch shot I've ever seen after LeBron LeBricked the 3 to tie, and it gets offensive rebound to Chris Bosh, kick to Ray Allen, and he makes it from the corner. I couldn't believe it, but it was fitting. LeBron finally passed him in 3-point makes, because the only one that really counted to LeBron that saved him from being 2-7 in finals was the one made by the great Ray Allen in Game 6.
And I want people, like you say,
Glad you brought that up.
I want people at home to realize this. LeBron James is the only player in NBA history that's not allowed to have teammates to do their job. Everybody else can have a teammate to do their job. Meta World Peace hits a three-point shot. That's what he was supposed to do.
Yep.
Steve Kerr, John Paxson. Everybody have teammates to do what they're supposed to, but not LeBron. Because if you're the GOAT, you got to do all that by yourself when nobody else has.
Well, the GOAT didn't do it by himself.
He did it last night. Him and AD.
No mercy.
Well, the Nuggets jumped ahead of the Clippers early on Saturday and never looked back. Jamal Murray had a game-high 27 points as the Nuggets led the entire game to even up the series with Kawhi in L.A. Nuggets coach Mike Malone said Denver was a noticeably different team compared to their Game 1 23-point blowout loss to the Clippers. So, Shannon, what was the biggest reason the Clippers lost this one?
Kawhi laid an egg. That is the biggest reason why they lost this ball game. Jamal Murray had him on skates, had him like he was on a slip and slide. He couldn't stand up. You remember the last 2 minutes, but let me get to this. Kawhi Leonard, now, Friday night, Jenny, people at home, and you can attest to this, every network, the Lakers lose. LeBron scores 17 but has 0 points in the fourth quarter. Kawhi Leonard goes 4 of 17, scores 13 points, and not one network, not NBA TV, not the other network mentioned that Kawhi Leonard had 0 points in the fourth quarter. This is why. I follow Spencer Dinwiddie, and I read where he said, why couldn't, if Kawhi Leonard wins the finals and becomes MVP, why he isn't in the GOAT conversation? Because he does not receive GOAT criticism. Everybody's been eviscerating Paul George. Everybody's been eviscerating Giannis Antetokounmpo. Kawhi Leonard has never received the criticism that the historically great players have received. Therein lies the problem. You cannot just say, well, he just shows up in the playoffs. They got within 5. This was, because Skip Bayless tell me Kawhi Leonard is the greatest mid-range shooter since Michael Jordan. He can close the game. After the first quarter, Skip, did you realize he was 1 for 10? He was 1 for 10 after the first quarter. What's going on? Had LeBron, you mentioned, Jenny asked you what was the biggest reason that the Lakers won last night.
No, she asked you.
No. That was a question. I just went first. So, in other words, even though I went first, that same question got posed to Skip Bayless.
Well, I'm going to ask a different
I know you are. But what did you do? The first thing you did, you went to Friday night and talked about how LeBron didn't score in the fourth quarter.
He goose-egged. He went 0 for 3 in a winnable game.
What about
That's the GOAT?
Hold on. Was that not a winnable game?
Woo.
Was that not a winnable game on Saturday night?
Yep, it was.
It was. And so what, in other words, he laid an egg. Just say it. Just say, Skip, he laid an egg. And here we are in September, and Kawhi Leonard is laying Easter eggs early. So he was late to the party because I understand it was a pandemic and people couldn't go out Easter egg hunting. And it's early for 2021. But Kawhi Leonard said, I'm going to make up for lost time. I'm going to lay an egg tonight. Had Paul George, people been killing Paul George. You called a man George Paul because he come up like Kawhi Leonard did on Saturday night.
That's a funny nickname.
It is funny, but it ain't right. So what you going to call Kawhi Leonard? What you going to call him, Skip? Huh? Leonard Skinner? Because that's what he played like. What's going on, Skip? I want to know why Kawhi Leonard gets a pass when he stinks it up when none of the other greats do. Y'all killing Giannis. You tell me Giannis is not that guy. You tell me LeBron freezes up. But yet Kawhi Leonard has never, ever received the criticism that the historically great players or the players that mentioned in GOAT conversation has ever received. That's not conjecture, that's fact. And he alone were the reason they lost.
So, I have one question to your question.
Oh, I got plenty of answers. Go ahead.
When have I ever put Kawhi Leonard in the GOAT debate? When we do who's the GOAT, it's always Michael Jordan for me because he's like 1,000 times above anybody, and it's always, wrongly, LeBron for you. Do we ever debate, well, Kawhi's somewhere in the mix? Have we ever, how many times have we done the MJ versus LeBron debate?
1,000.
No, 10,000.
10,000.
And how many times do we put Kawhi in there and said, well, Kawhi's third? No, he's not.
No, I'm saying players are saying that, but you,
I only know one, Spencer Dinwiddie.
Hold on, you say, hold on now. This is what you do tell me. You say when we talk about great players, you hold them to the highest degree.
Again, when did we ever say, or when did I ever say he's all-time great? I've never said that one time on this show.
You just told me last week.
When we rank and we go 15 deep. Do I ever put Kawhi Leonard up there? No.
Hold on.
No. Have I ever even put him near the top 10? No.
No. You took him out of the top 10 because he left the Spurs.
No,
he
was never in the top.
Okay, I want you to go on this one. But you said since Kevin Durant is not playing, he's currently the best player in the NBA. So he should receive best player in the NBA criticism, which you don't give him.
Oh, I always... Kevin Durant?
No! Skip, I'm talking about Kawhi.
Oh, because Kevin's not playing?
You said since Kevin Durant is not playing, Kawhi Leonard is the best player in the NBA. So by that standard, he should receive best player in the NBA criticism for that stinker.
All I've said about Kawhi Leonard so far in the bubble is that until Friday night, he had been the best player in the bubble. Because look at his previous 6 playoff games. He went 30-plus 5 straight times, and then in Game 1, in the rout of the Denver Nuggets, he went for 29 in 30 minutes because he didn't play in the fourth quarter. Well, that was extraordinary. So for the previous 6 games, Kawhi Leonard had averaged 32 a game with 9 rebounds and 5 assists. Right. He's not a huge assist guy, although Doc called him the other day, not just a good passer, an elite passer. He just doesn't have the ball in his hands to pass it. He's not playing point guard. He's obviously a shooting forward. That's what he does.
But if he don't have the ball in his hand that much, why he got them 4 turnovers?
Well, on Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night. Okay. Friday night.
So I tweeted after Friday night's game that Kawhi Leonard was due to have a bad game, and did he ever on both ends? That's what I tweeted. He was horrible on both ends. But so was his team in the first quarter. They gave up, what was it, 40?
Is he on that team?
What was the first quarter? 44-25 is what they gave up. And, you know, it was the classic, we blew them out so easily in Game 1. We don't really need to show up for Game 2, and that's what happened because you know and I know Denver can score it. If you let Denver get off hot, they will. And they came out hot in 2 ways, hot shooting and hot emotionally, because they were mad about how they got embarrassed and then embarrassed in social media after that game. Charles Barkley once again said they will be swept. The Denver Nuggets will be swept. And obviously they just said, okay, watch this. They played for their lives on Friday night. And
do people realize Charles lost a lot of money gambling?
Well,
by making predictions like this.
Well, it just seems like every prediction he makes, you should just go the
opposite way and you be wealthy.
That is correct. So what was my biggest takeaway from this night on which Kawhi Leonard was horrible? I will say it again. He was horrible. He's not in LeBron's category because he's not he's not an all-time great. Maybe he could be if he strings together 4 or 5 more years like he's been having. But he's going to have to be the Finals MVP this year, and he's still got a real shot at that. And by the way, were you suggesting Denver's going to win this series?
No. I didn't say.
Okay. I want to make sure about that. So what happened on Saturday night was this. 44-25 in the first quarter, and then what did my Clippers start to do?
Nothing.
They started to play. So they won the second quarter, 31-28 for Denver. That's pretty good to hold them from 44 down.
You gave up 72.
Then in the third quarter, they won it 21-17. Is that good? They held Denver to 17 in the third quarter.
But you only scored 21.
And then in the fourth quarter, the Clips won that 24-21. So think about this. After Denver was allowed to just cakewalk to 44 first quarter points, Denver goes 28 in the second, 17 in the third, and 21 in the fourth. Those are winning defensive numbers for the Clippers.
Yeah.
In fact, the Clippers won the last 3 quarters. They won each quarter, but they won by a total of 76-66 over the last 3 quarters.
Yeah.
So they're coming and they're coming back, but it's such a huge deficit. You're down 44-25. With 8:36 left in the fourth quarter, they cut it all the way down to 5 points. Were you watching?
Yeah.
They cut it to
this is Kawhi time. Yeah, I went and got me some popcorn. I had the popcorn, so I warmed the popcorn up right quick because I said, it's popcorn time. This Kawhi Leonard time right now. That's what Skip Bayless, that's what all these experts tell me. This is Kawhi time. So I got my popcorn, and I sat back, Jenny, had my robe on, I folded my feet up on the couch, and I started eating. And I ain't see nothing. So I stuck my whole hand.
Really?
I ain't see nothing.
Did you butter it?
No. I don't do butter.
Okay, good.
Bad for your heart.
It was actually Gary Harris time. Of all people, Gary Harris, who's just recently come back from injury, he makes a 3 with 7:29,
Yeah.
another one 6:13,
Yeah.
and another one with 1:38 left. And I don't think Kawhi was guarding him. And he made 3 straight huge threes, and then Jamal Murray capped it off after a long
Well, who was guarding those Jamal Murray?
Jamal Murray with 2:12 left made another huge three that just slammed
I
the
know,
door.
Skip, stop doing all that. I want to know who he made that three
I'm
on.
just telling you what exactly
I
happened.
know what happened. I watched the game, but I want you to see, because sometimes the people, they might have been out there, it was Labor Day weekend, Skip. So they might have, well, here you go right here. Since you won't tell them, I show them. Woo! I'll show them.
Yeah.
You won't tell them what happened. Is that Kawhi Leonard? Look at him. And he, Jamal Murray's like, that was nasty. Look at this right here. Come on, get some. You reach, I teach.
Yep.
Shall I dance? Yes, mama. Bam, in his face.
He's a really good clutch.
Oh, now he really
What did we
good.
see against Utah?
Whoa.
Really good.
Hold on, Skip. That's the 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, the 2-time Finals MVP that he making look average.
Okay, so you're just spitting and gloating over there. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will bet you 5 cases of Diet Dew that the Clippers win tonight. I'll go 5 cases. I'll just push it. I'm all in into the middle of the table. I got 5 cases that the Clippers will come out in the first quarter and do to Denver what they did in the second, third, and fourth quarter on Saturday night.
Skip.
All in.
No. You told me, okay, the first quarter, Nuggets 44, the Clippers 25. I just want to know one thing. Was Pat Beverly available? Did he play in the first quarter? What about Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? So in other words, you got those 3 dogs. Now you tell me that's that death lineup. When they trot that lineup on the floor, it's good night, Irene. Okay, how in the hell do the Denver Nuggets...
I just explained it to you. You know and I know what happens in sports. Once you steamroll somebody in game 1, you think, this is easy.
Whoa.
You don't really need to even take this seriously.
Whoa, hold on. Not with Kawhi Leonard. Hold on. Not with Kawhi Leonard on the court. Not with Skip Bayless. Had that been LeBron James, the game, because you remember, you told me game 1, when the ball was in LeBron James' hand and they were down 5, he had a chance at a 3-point shot and he came up empty.
He did.
The exact same thing happened Saturday night.
I never said Kawhi was in LeBron's class. When did I ever say that? Have I ever made that statement?
No, don't do that.
And was
don't
he
do
not
that.
due a game like that?
No,
yeah,
hold
he was
on.
due.
So now, hold on. I just want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So great players, even LeBron James, is due to have a bad game. And I'm hearing you correctly. Is that okay?
Is it okay to say LeBron's due to have a bad game against Houston tomorrow night?
You won't put nothing on it. You won't bet nothing. You won't bet nothing.
I think it's about the Rockets' turn to win game 3. Yep. That's what I think.
Put some dew on it.
Yeah, and I will tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll put some on there. We got until tomorrow. But I just want everybody to focus on the fact that last night, LeBron and AD gave up a 64-38 run to the Houston Rockets.
Hold up.
Is that worse than 44-15 first quarter?
Who won the game? You know what? Here, Skip, I got a contract for you I need you to sign. It says, this contract says, my team caught an L. And I need your name right here on the bottom. I need Skip Bayless on the bottom. You do that for me?
Nope.
Okay, then.
No way he's signing that, Shannon.
Yeah, that's what I need. He won't do. You know what? I know you was over there. I know you was over there seething. Don't think I don't see what you be tweeting.
Seething?
Yeah. I saw what you tweeted too, Skip Bayless.
How do you see it?
I don't worry about how I see
you
it.
creeping on my tweets if you don't even follow me? Just do it. Make it official today.
No.
Hit that follow button.
No, I just need you to be. I just want you, like you tell me, just have some level of objectivity. Like you tell me.
Well, you did to start off this show. You actually had objectivity. LeBron heat checked a 3, and it's like you don't want him to be shooting those threes because you know and I know it's no good for LeBron.
But he wasn't on fuego like he was in Portland, that last one. That last one, it was on fire.
Yeah, I want him to shoot a logo 3 against the Rockets.
We might. Okay.
We're going to
Are you daring us?
We're going to get back to
daring. Okay. Right now, I dare you.
We still need, guys, to talk about the Bucks because they were able to stay alive in their series against the Heat despite losing Giannis early to an ankle injury. Chris Middleton stepped up big for Milwaukee, scoring a game-high 36 points on the way to a 118-115 overtime win. The Heat blew an 8-point fourth-quarter lead and failed to close out the series. So, Shannon, what does it tell you that the Bucks won in this situation right now without Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Well, it tells me they're a good team, Skip. And I think sometimes teams fall into the trap. When you have a great player, a lot of times the team spend a lot of time standing around watching him play. Well, Giannis is removed from the game, so now what are you going to do? we're going to move the ball, and we're going to get some good shots. And I think also, Skip, the Heat took their foot off the gas. And it's only natural. When you see the team's best player, and we all believe that he's going to be the MVP again. So you lose the two-time MVP, the defensive player of the year. And I think the Heat relaxed just enough because the Heat play better. Chris Middleton went and got 21 in the third quarter, Skip, with Jimmy Butler and Crowder. I just think they relaxed just enough. And the Bucks got just enough confidence because, Skip, I was thinking once they got up to about 8 in the fourth quarter, I said, okay, it's over now. You ain't got Giannis, y'all done. And they just kept that, and they're like, nope. Chris Middleton says nope. Guys making shots. Bledsoe, George Hill made a few shots. They're like, no, we're not going away. We're not going out like this. We're going to go down swinging. And they were swinging for the fences. Give them credit. Give Mike Budenholzer credit, Skip. Giannis goes out, and Giannis was playing unbelievable. He had 19 points in 11 minutes. So we can sit here and say, well, would they have won if they'd have had Giannis? We'll never know. But the poise and the fight that they showed me, minus Giannis, explains to me now you get an opportunity to see, okay, now I see why they won all those games. They're a good team, Skip. They don't have household names, but the guys that they have, they fill a role, and they do that role exceptionally well.
Yep.
Chris Middleton showed you yesterday afternoon, why he's an all-star. He went and got, it was him, because this game was going to get out of hand. If he doesn't get heat check in the third quarter and get that 21, Skip, it's over. It's over. He couldn't miss. They couldn't do anything with him. But it showed me something. The Bucks showed me something yesterday. A lot of other teams, Skip, they had every reason to pack their bags and go home. They're down 3-0. Their best player is lost. Maybe, who knows? But we know he wasn't coming back in that game. And they stood and they fought and they lived to see another day. Now, I believe they're only going to live to see another day because I believe it's over in 5, Skip. But they showed me a lot yesterday.
So I want to be very clear about what I'm about to say. I would never try to make the case that the Bucks in general, long-term, short-term, whatever, are better off without Giannis.
Right.
But against this team in this situation yesterday, they had a better chance of winning that game without Giannis. Because what did you just say? He scored 19 points in 11 minutes.
Yep.
They were down a point because, as you just pointed out, they get so Giannis-centric against a defense that does make it very hard for him, especially as the game wears on.
Right.
He starts to wear out. They collapse more and more. They force him into some sort of jump shooting, some mid-range, some three-point shooting that he is not great at. And they expose his flaw over time.
Yes.
So I believe that game was going the wrong way when he went out. Just as they're obviously down 0-3 already. Right. And on Friday, which night was it? Friday night, Giannis was 7 of 21 from the field. It just wasn't good enough,
right.
And they lost by whatever it was, 15. I think they lost by 15 on Friday night.
Right.
So not only did that happen, that all those other Bucks are they're all really good players.
Right.
They're not like superstars.
Right.
But Chris Middleton's an all-star. Brook Lopez is an all-star.
Made some big threes. Brook Lopez made some big shots.
Eric Bledsoe can be he can play at an all-star level. And by the way, Brook Lopez saved the day in the fourth quarter.
He did.
Weirdly, because he made 2 big threes. That's about all he seems to ever do. And
he got fouled with one, Skip, with no time on the clock, and he got fouled. It made both of those free throws.
Both of those. But Chris Middleton in the fourth quarter, after that salvo in the third, he goes 0 for 6 in the fourth quarter, and Brooks saved him, and everybody else chipped in. And then DiVincenzo showed me some real guts because he had 2 free throws to force overtime, and he missed the first one. And I thought, God, I'm glad LeBron isn't standing there right now.
Hold on. What time about? He should have made both of them. LeBron would have made both of them. We wouldn't even got to overtime.
Oh, really? Yeah. The worst late-game free throw shooter in the history of basketball. DiVincenzo showed me something as still a young player to just say, give me the ball back. I got this. He didn't swish it, but he made it to force overtime.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden, Chris Middleton shifts back into high gear, and here he comes and scores 9 in overtime, and that's it.
And he takes all their
All
shots.
the shots, okay, after 0 for 6 in the fourth quarter. It was a guts game. It was a heart game for what was left of the Bucks without Giannis. And then I'm going to disagree because Jimmy Butler, who I have great respect for, said after the game, we relaxed after Giannis went out, and you just used the word relaxed. I didn't think that was what was going on. I thought they actually played a little tighter on offense because all of a sudden they went from cute little underdog to, you guys should do this.
Right.
And I thought they tightened up just a little bit over stretches where it's like, we should put them away now. And we try and we try and we try. And Tyler Hero came up big and over. Boy, he made a couple of big threes.
Yeah.
He's got close.
Well, he gave him the lead. Skip, he gave him the lead. He came off of, Bam off a dribble handoff and hit a big three.
Right. But without Giannis, everything freed up for Milwaukee. Yes. The ball's moving. Everybody's involved. Whoever was open took the shot. There was no, should I give it to Giannis? Oh, he's not here.
Right.
And in the biggest picture, I liked watching their offense better without him. That doesn't mean the offense is better without him. Just against this team is so well coached and plays so hard on defense, you can loosen up their defense by moving the ball better.
Skip, this happens sometimes. We've seen situations where in football, and the team is playing well, and they got a pretty good quarterback, and he gets injured. And then the backup comes in, and he lights you up because you built your game plan to stop the starting quarterback, and you have no idea what this guy.
That's a good point.
What you capable of doing.
Their whole game plan is build a wall.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you can't build a wall against Chris Middleton. Yeah, you're shooting it from.
I ain't building no wall for Bledsoe and Matthews.
No, you're not.
So now it's free flowing, and they're getting shots. Making shots. Skip, and maybe you're right. Maybe they did tighten up. Maybe the angle, man, we should win this. We should win this. But, Skip, I just thought the defense that was normally there, they were getting clean looks. And for the most part, they weren't giving the first 3 games, they didn't give the Bucks clean looks.
Yep.
And the Bucks got some great looks yesterday. Now, Middleton hit some tough shots. That last shot, that dagger one, Skip, hey, you just look at Spo like, Spo, what? I mean, what you want me to do, bro? You see, he pulled up on both of us from 27. I don't know what you want me to do about that.
I agree. Yep. So I'm not writing off the Bucks, even if they're
done. They did good game 5. It's over.
It's over?
It's over game 5.
I don't think so.
It's over game 5. Can we get a case on that?
Well, we might. We just might. I'm going to think about that one. But
because Giannis is not playing. They'd be foolish to play Giannis.
Yeah, have they ruled him out? I don't think.
No, they haven't ruled him out. I mean, you don't give him treatment every couple of hours around the clock. But Skip, this happened before. You remember Grant Hill? Grant Hill had that ankle injury, and he tried to play through it. That ruined Grant Hill's career. Grant Hill was never the same.
If you've torn ligaments in your ankle and you try to play through that, that's no good.
Well, it's sprained, so something is going on. Let that thing heal, because you don't know, Skip. I don't look. He's in line to get max 5,250, and come or go. But I think, Skip, had they lost yesterday, I think it'd have become abundantly clear to Giannis, man, we're not good enough. I may need to go somewhere else, because the likelihood of me attracting a free agent in Milwaukee is not very good. I think they showed him yesterday, we okay, bro. We get you back. We can add a piece here, add a piece there. Skip, I don't think you're going to get another superstar. I don't think you're going to get, obviously, you're not getting another Giannis there. KD or one of these other top 5 players aren't coming there. But you might can get enough. I don't know who you're going to trade, but you might can get, give up some draft picks, maybe trade a player, and get a decent, a number 3 guy. Because I think, they have 2 guys, but everybody's loading up with big 3s.
Maybe in the end it was that he's not good enough to carry them. Maybe he doesn't have those killer, superstar intangibles. That's what I've been seeing.
Maybe, especially in the playoffs. Playoff basketball and regular season basketball are 2 different things. It's just like football. Playoff football and regular season football are 2 different things, Skip.
You know what? I think the Bucks have enough just on heart and guts and watch this to win 1 more game.
Jimmy Buckets ain't going to let that happen.
You don't think so?
Jimmy and Bam. Yeah, they don't do that.
Could the Bucks now be more inspired by what happened in Kenosha? Maybe?
I don't see it. It's over. Heat in 5.
Okay.
No mercy.
Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson signed a 4-year, $160 million extension over the weekend. Watson is the latest QB to sign an extension after Patrick Mahomes' historic deal earlier this offseason. This also comes after the Cowboys and Dak Prescott failed to get an extension done this past year. So, Shannon, what does Deshaun's deal mean for Dak Prescott?
I told you. Todd France didn't overplay his hand. This is where the market's going. $39 million with 2 years left on his deal. That's what he got. Now, you see what happened, and this is, when you look at it, when you break this down, Skip, you look at Carson Wentz, and he was the first guy in this draft class that ended up getting the big bucks. And he got about $33 million. And then Jared Goff comes behind him and get about $33.5. So what we were seeing, Skip, is that each guy was going up. They were increasing it by $500,000 to $750,000. We see Aaron Rodgers get $33.5, $34 million. We see Russell Wilson gets $35 million. Well, here comes Deshaun Watson. He pole vaults and clears $4 million more per year. And he gets more in the first 3 years than Patrick Mahomes. Dak Prescott said, Todd France didn't overplay his hand.
Oh, really?
Because he knew this is where the market was going, Skip Bayless. Because here's the thing. How many other quarterbacks are going to get signed? Because the teams, I don't care what Jerry says. I don't care what Steven says, and I don't care what you say. These other teams believe they have their guy. That's why they lock him up. That's why they pay him that money. But the days of the $33 and the $34 million for the franchise quarterbacks are a thing of the past.
Really?
That's not happening. Deshaun Watson got $39 million with 2 years left. He's in the 4th year, the 5th year option, and in 2022, that new money kicks in. Dak Prescott has no option. He's already under the tag. So guess where that goes, Skip Bayless? In 2021, $40 million, which is where I told you he wanted to be in the beginning. And lo and behold, Shannon's been proved right again. Because if you look at the numbers, the first 3 years, Dak is 32-16, Deshaun is 24-13. Both have won 2 division titles. Both are 1-2 in the playoffs. Now, do I believe Deshaun Watson is a better quarterback? Yeah, a better thrower of the football? Yes, I do.
Well, then how did you tell me so?
What do you mean?
You've been telling me all along that Dak isn't even in the league with Deshaun, right? So how are you proven right by this?
Skip, you know how this worked. If they only pay...
I don't know.
Okay, how about this here?
You have to educate me on this. This is new school.
If they only pay the players for what they are, not for what they were going to be, there will only be about 7, 8, 9 guys getting paid. But that's not how they do it, especially the quarterback position. They've never paid that position. They always pay that position, and they say, we believe what you will be, except when it came to Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, for some reason, I guess they don't believe in him because he's seen Carson Wentz, he's seen Tannehill, he's seen First Cousins get signed again. He's seen Jared Goff. Now he's seen Deshaun Watson. He's seen my homeboy. He's seen 6, 7 quarterbacks get paid. But the Cowboys tell him, we believe in you, Dak. We believe. Dak said, believe a little less and pay me.
So I want to get this straight.
Yes.
Are you trying to make the case Dak is better than Deshaun?
I'm making the case Dak Prescott deserves to get paid. That's the case I'm making.
Paid what? More than Deshaun?
He gonna get paid more than Deshaun.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because of what?
Yes.
Because he did what or what?
Skip, they paid Deshaun because they believe Deshaun is their franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
He is.
So in other words, you're saying Dak isn't your franchise quarterback?
I'm telling you, he is. I've had him 10th in the league. And that's what everybody has him right around 10th in the league, which is really good. It's good enough to win you a couple of Super Bowls if you have the supporting cast he does have right now. He might have the best supporting cast in all of football on offense. It's real close between him and Kansas City and Tom Brady. It's real close.
That's funny. All the years, I never heard you mention anything about the supporting cast. It was always Dak. When I told you it was about Zeke, when I told you about that offensive line, you swore up and down, no, that guy. Now it's time to get money.
CeeDee Lamb. Just see him and see him run. See CeeDee run. See CeeDee catch. See CeeDee score. Just see CeeDee. Watch. I've been telling you this. I first guessed it.
You do realize how that works, Skip. you do realize that if CeeDee Lamb is what you say and the Cowboys offense is what you say, you do realize that's 42, 43 million now. Okay. You do realize that, right?
I don't realize that.
Okay.
This is the biggest duh in the history of does. This is the most predictable outcome that could ever happen because I told you from the start, Deshaun is a little better than Dak, and he got a little better deal than Dak was offered by Jerry Jones. He got $39 million. My sources tell me that Dak was offered $36 million with, according to Jane Slater, $80 million guaranteed at signing. 80 guaranteed at signing. That's more than Deshaun got, 74. But Deshaun, to his credit, fought for only 4 years and won 4 years versus 5.
You gonna give Dak 4 years? You gonna give Dak 4 years?
I don't know what they're doing.
You don't know.
I know what was on the table. 5 years, an average of 36 a year, and 80 million guaranteed at signing.
He won this many.
And Dak Prescott has... What does Deshaun have any national TV commercials? I can't think. Maybe
don't worry about that. That's not important.
That factors in because if you're the quarterback of America's team, you can cash in off the field.
I'm gonna cash in.
Ways you can't cash in as the Houston Texans.
I'm cashing in on my ability because I play football.
So here's what we know about what just happened. We know that Jerry Jones thought that he had a deal done, a handshake verbal agreement with Todd France.
Right.
And that was going into last year's opener. We'd come full circle a whole year. So this week, a year ago, Jerry Jones thought, we're good, we're there. So they didn't quite get the T's crossed and the I's dotted. They didn't quite before game 1, which was the Giants at home, and Dak lit them up predictably. He lit them up at New York, and he lit them up at home because they weren't very good last year,
they weren't very good.
according to Shannon Sharpe.
Okay.
And after that game, Jerry Jones told the media, when asked about Dak's contract, it is imminent, said Jerry Jones. Imminent. Jerry, can you define imminent? He said it's a matter of days, not weeks, days. So I expected that week leading up to game 2 at Washington. I'm thinking, Jerry, we're going to have a big story. We're going to lead Undisputed with the new big Dak contract. Nope. Didn't happen. Dak lit up the Redskins. Shannon said they're garbage, and he was right. Then here came Miami, the Dolphins, to Dallas, to Jerry World. And what happened in game 3? Dak lit them up and led the NFL in QBR at 90. And Shannon Sharpe said, all 3 first teams that Dallas played are garbage, said the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. Am I right about that? And Yahoo reported that all of a sudden Todd France was singing a new tune to Jerry Jones, who thought he had a handshake agreement with Todd France for the deal that was on the table I just detailed for you. And instead, Todd France said, Jerry, guess what? You snooze, you lose. You just lost a bunch of money because we are lighting up the league. And Jerry Jones does not play that game. That's one rug you do not jerk out from under Jerry Jones is the verbal handshake rug. And all of a sudden, they went to war. And it got ugly, according to Yahoo and several others, that it got cold-blooded ugly through the rest of the year. So here comes 13 more games. And over those 13 games, he didn't really light it up like he did those first 3 garbage teams. He ranked, according to Pro Football Focus, 15th in performance over those last 13 games. And in those last 13, the man who told me so across from me, Shannon Sharpe, gave my quarterback, Dak Prescott, an F in 7 of 13 games. Think about this. 7 times at New Orleans, Packers at home, at Jets. I hate to even bring these up, but they sting every time I bring them up. Then at New England, then Bills at home on Thanksgiving, then at Eagles, and I left out at Patriots. That's the 7th one. At Patriots. That's 7 Fs that you gave Dak Prescott, but you're saying that he should have gotten the 40+ million he wanted a year?
But guess what?
Really?
But guess what?
You told me so.
But guess what? Guess what the people at home didn't hear you say in those 13 games last year? That the teams he was playing was garbage. That's not one thing. You didn't say that not one time. You didn't say that. You kept giving him A's and B's because you didn't say they were garbage. Now it's time you say he played bad against garbage teams. Oh,
well, I didn't give him A or B against at New England and at
But let me tell you how this works, Skip. You know how owners You know how owners talk? How they probably circulated about they weren't going to sign Cap? Agents talk. When it comes time to this guy's contract, what you think you might be looking in line for? What you might be asking for? Because this is what I heard. At first, it was that Dak is something around Jared Goff and Carson Wentz around the 33. And then it's gone up to 34. And then it went up to 35. And now it's up to 36. Whoa, funny. But guess what? The price isn't coming down.
So you believe Dak Prescott deserved $42 million a year?
No, Skip. You could have had Skip. Here's the thing: if you come off the muscle and says we're gonna make you the highest paid, we're gonna give you $1 million more than Russ got at 35. So we're gonna give you 36 to begin with. The deal gets done. But you tried to start him off, Skip, because you got to realize now he doesn't have a fifth-year option. These other guys got fifth-year option. Because of the rookie contract, you can't tear it up. So you got to play the fourth year, the fifth year. So it's like I said, Deshaun got this year, which is a 4. He got the player option 5, and then the new money starts in year 6. Dak doesn't have that, Skip. Guess what? Dak is in the fourth year right now. No, he's fifth. It's 16, 17, 18, 19. Yeah. So he's fifth year. So Dak, this would theoretically be Dak's fifth year, his option. He doesn't have the option. He's in the franchise. So guess what? You told me the franchise next year is at $38 million.
37.7. That's what he'll
boom,
be.
Boom.
Yep. So he's got 31.6, 37.6.
So Dak
not bad.
So Dak Prescott say, look here, Deshaun Skip, that's, thing goes up. What can you buy today that you bought in 2019 or 2018 at the same price? You can't even get gas.
I'm still trying to figure out. It's blowing my mind how you say, I told you so, but you gave him an F for 7 of the last 13 games last year, and there's no way you ever said he was even in the ballpark with Deshaun Watson, and now you're saying he deserves more money than Deshaun Watson?
Skip.
I don't see how you can make that case.
He said,
I never did.
Skip, he said, I see Ryan Tannehill after 8 games. He got jettisoned from the Dolphins. He was supposed to be with the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
He said, well, I saw what he got. The Dolphins paid him and released him. He goes to Tennessee. They pay him. Dak says, I see everybody else getting paid when you're telling me I'm your guy. So tell me a little less that I'm your guy and pay me. See, I see better than I hear.
Well, even you said that the offer on the table was a very fair offer.
I said it was respectable.
Okay.
But I need a little bit more respect.
That's saying you're our guy.
No, it's not.
Right?
No. That's saying we want to date. No.
Dak Prescott is 1-2 in playoff games. Okay, so here we go.
Tony Romo, how many playoff games Tony Romo won?
I don't care about Tony Romo. It doesn't matter. It just he's out of sight, out of mind, ancient history.
Okay, you're right. It might not matter, but I bet you're not getting Dak Prescott on a long-term deal less than $40 million.
Okay. All I know is, bottom line to this discussion, that somehow Jerry Jones, the most hated owner in sports, has turned Dak Prescott into a sympathetic figure. Beyond sympathy, because everybody says, pay the man, Jerry. How dare you do this?
Exactly.
And he offered him $36 million with $80 million guaranteed at signing.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. At one point in time, it was 33 because it was in line with Goff and Wentz. And somehow we got an extra $3 million because now what you're trying to do is make Dak seem like he's greedy. Because
I don't think he's greedy. I just think he left a really fair deal on the table.
No, we want above fair. Yep. Because you had a chance to get this done early. Skip, this is what you do. When J.J. Watt got his deal, everybody's like, give J.J. Watt that money? Now look at J.J. Watt's deal. You got guys blowing past him, not even comparable, not even in his ballpark, making more money than J.J. Watt. But what you do, Skip, is that you make him an offer that he can't refuse. Give Dak the $36 million in the beginning. Don't get to that point, and then boom, you got Dak under contract. But y'all dilly-dally, 33, 33.5, 34, 35.5, 35. Dak said, you know what? Forget it. Dak said, forget it. Because I see you in 2021. We're in the money. Oh, you hit that dollar bill. Money.
Guess
money.
who is playing for a contract now?
Yeah,
Once again, here we go again.
Will be on
all
Dak.
The pressure is on Dak.
No, it's Skip.
All the pressure, and it starts
Actually, it's on
Sunday
Jerry.
night against Jared Goff.
He got CD, you remember?
Believe it, though? We have football this week, Thursday night.
Yeah.
No mercy.
After dropping game one on Friday, the Lakers evened up the series against the Rockets last night at a game apiece. LA saw their 16-point halftime lead evaporate into a deficit in the third quarter, but fought back in the fourth behind LeBron's 8 points to go on and win 117-109. LeBron finished with 28 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, and 2 blocks. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us now. Chris, what was the biggest reason the Lakers won this one?
I have to start with LeBron James. LeBron said, and we know he's done this in the past, he'll get a measure for the opponent after game one. He'll kind of feel him out, see what he's got to do for the rest of the series. And after game one, he came out and talked about how the speed that the Rockets play with, how fast they play, how you have to adjust to it. I think he took inventory, and I think he figured out how he has to pace himself throughout the rest of this series. Because not only does he have to deliver offensively, and especially in the fourth quarter, but defensively, he's doing a lot of defense on James Harden. He's done a really good job on Harden, so that's a responsibility. Has to make sure he's fresh for it. And what he's doing to Russell Westbrook, he's terrorizing poor Russ. I think Russ is waking up in the middle of the night like, oh my, LeBron.
Figure it out.
It's just ridiculous, the shot blocks, the dunking on him. And so what I saw yesterday from LeBron, first half, we know he wants to get AD involved in the first quarter. Second quarter, he scores 13 points. They got a comfortable lead. Third quarter, I think he was coasting. He didn't put his imprint on the game. Maybe it backfired because Houston got back in the game. But he was fresh for the fourth. And obviously, he dominated the fourth quarter and was tremendous. So I got to give LeBron the bulk of the credit. AD was big. We know whenever they get shooting from the other guys, Danny Green, Markieff Morris, that's huge. But they are doing a smart thing with Russell Westbrook, okay? Kind of like the Rockets did with Rondo. They're laying off of him and giving him the three.
Yeah.
Okay, if you get up on him, he'll drive around you, and he's more effective in the mid-range or at the hoop, we know. But they're just giving him the three, and he is too prideful not to take it. So he was 1 for 7 from three. Russ has not shot 7 3-pointers since Christmas Day. And if he continues to do that, he's going to play into the Lakers' hands. I think he'll adjust, but that was a smart move yesterday. We'll see how much Russ plays into it the rest of the series. But I think those are the reasons that the Lakers even this thing up.
Go ahead. I know you chomping it a bit. Go ahead.
No, you should.
No, go ahead. No, I know you chomping.
I need you to glow.
I don't like glow.
I need you to make LeBron overconfident.
No.
That was the biggest bunch of LeBron hero worship I've ever heard on this show. I couldn't even believe what I was hearing.
Skip, LeBron played well, and as Chris mentioned, you have to figure it out. And yes, they are small, but they play at a breakneck pace because they're small, they can't afford to get involved into a half-court set when you have bigs. Because
could I interrupt real quick?
Yes.
What did I tell you as I made my prediction on Friday that the Rockets would win game one? You can't simulate what they do in practice.
Right.
And all of a sudden, LeBron's going, greatest show on turf, St. Louis Rams.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
They got very fast, Skip. And when you small, you got to be active with your hands. I mean, you going up and they swiping at the ball and the ball hit the floor. P.J. Tucker, I love Tuck because he feels that he don't care if there's like 8 7-footers out there. He's like, I'm going to get this rebound. The ball hit the floor, he's on the floor. Covington is the same way. They have a lot of scrappy guys. Gordon is in this, sticking his hands in there trying to pull the ball out. James Harden is trying to swipe balls left and right. But at the end of the day, we have LeBron and AD, and y'all do not. Now, I'm not underestimating the Rockets because they got 2 of the last 5 MVPs on their roster. James Harden can get 50. We've seen him go get 25 and a half. So I'm not shortchanging him. But as AD told Turnabout and Tuck, and they were laughing going back up the court, he looked like this, like, you too small, bro. You can't do nothing with this here. This 6'10 and a half and can go to mid-range, can get in the post. He started crashing the boards. He got putbacks. He got loose ball, dunking at home. That was really the difference in the ball game. Yes, Chris, I don't know if you agree with me, but I don't know how much more. JaVale did hurt his ankle, but I don't know how much more we're going to see of JaVale and Dwight because this is really not a series for a true 5. This is a series for a hybrid. AD can be that hybrid. And you're going to probably see more Keith Morris, more Kyle Kuzma in the lineups than you're going to see JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard. But LeBron...
I thought the Lakers just did what Lakers do.
No.
Do what we do.
We do.
No?
We'll talk about this a little later. We have the arsenal. We have the versatility to play a lot of different ways.
Really?
But the one way we can play that nobody else can is old Goat James. He was doing goldish thing in AD. Too small tuck. Yeah, you saw it.
So I need some help here.
Okay, let me help you.
I saw a very different game than you guys saw. I saw the Lakers just explode out to a 42-21 lead early in the second quarter.
Yep.
Thanks in large part to Markieff Morris. It wasn't even Marcus Morris, who plays for the Clippers, the better of the twins.
No. Y'all got the evil twin. We got the good twin.
He is the twin in a good way. But Markieff Morris made 4 3-point shots. Are you going to count on that in game 3, 4, and 5? I think not. So from that moment on, 42-21 Lakers. Would you believe the Lakers gave up a 64-38 run? LeBron was dominating. AD, as Shannon told me, he was unbelievable. Unbelievable. 64-38 was the run from Rockets down 21 to Rockets up 5 late in the third quarter. Who gives up a run like that? What great team gives up a run like that?
Well, Skip,
they just don't.
But Skip, when they get hot from the three, you remember? You remember when Houston had that big lead on OKC, and OKC went on like a 70-40-something run.
These are the Lakers.
But Skip,
the prohibitive favorites.
When they're making threes like that, I mean, think about it now. They made 22 threes and lost the game. That's only happened twice. This is only the third time that's ever happened in the playoffs.
Okay, so I will give you this. LeBron did set the early tone in the fourth quarter. I don't know about dominating the fourth quarter, but he set the early tone because he owed his team, because in the fourth quarter of a winnable game on Friday night, he scored goose egg in the fourth quarter. He scored 0 points and went 0 for 3. And I could see the look on his face. He said, I better just put my head down and drive it. Oh, no, the first possession of the fourth quarter, what did LeBron do? He just roared right by Jeff Green, his old friend from Cleveland. And I don't know, maybe Jeff owed him a little favor and just said, I'm not going to guard you.
Oh, that's what he said.
I'm just going to let you go up and dunk it. Quick dunk it. Just bop, it was gone.
Oh, that's what he said.
It was like a quick dunk. And I said, Jeff, are you out there? Because he wasn't out there much of the game. He had a disappearing act game, which is unlike him. And then LeBron got an alley-oop, fast break dunk from your guy. What's his name?
Caruso.
No, Caruso. He gives him the alley-oop dunk, and it was spectacular. And I tweeted, maybe they should just call off the rest of the game because Lakers win off that dunk. But I don't think the Rockets are going to quit. And obviously they didn't. But LeBron didn't do much more except make 2 free throws, and then, of course, they're up 6 with 32 seconds left. And LeBron shoots a fadeaway in the lane from 10 feet, if we could see this.
It was a thing of beauty.
Oh, it was the dagger. It was the dagger. Way to go, LeBron. This is going to be clutch. LeBron, he fades away, and he goes down and that's it. We won the championship. We won the championship. Is that clutch?
Yes.
You're up 6. That made you up 8 with 30 seconds left. Is it a game you're going to lose? Stop it.
Hey, Chris.
Just stop it.
Hey, Chris. I don't know if you remember this, but I remember a team being up 5 with 20 seconds on the clock.
Yeah.
And something happened.
Ray Allen making the greatest clutch shot ever to save LeBron's
How you
legacy.
know I was talking about that game?
Now, back to the scene of the crime. Russell Westbrook was why the Lakers won the game last night. I have never seen him that pathetic, and I've watched a whole lot of Westbrook in all of his days in Oklahoma City. This man has lost it, and he admitted after the game he has lost it. He said, I'm just running around out there. That's about it, because in the 25 games leading up to the pandemic, he went crazy, did Westbrook. Right. He averaged 32 points a game, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists over 25 games. Then he got COVID. Then he hurt his quad somehow. I'm not sure what it was. And he missed the first 4 games against Oklahoma City. And since he's come back, he's played 5 playoff games, and he is shooting 39% from the field and 17% from 3. 47% from the free throw line. You can't win like that. They won in spite of him on Friday night, and they could not overcome him last night. He was 7 turnovers, 4 for 15, 1 for 7 from 3. It's hard to overcome that when everybody else is playing at a high level. And of the starters, everybody had an average of +8 and plus-minus. And what was Westbrook?
-14.
-14. It's hard to beat that.
Well,
I'm sorry. He was your MVP last night.
Let me ask you a question. You believe they'll make 22 threes again?
Yeah. They averaged 20.
Makes.
Yeah, makes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think they should do with Russ? What would you suggest doing with Russ?
You have to attack. I disagreed with your take on him. They're daring him to shoot. Back in, December, January, February, what he would do when James would get doubled, as the Lakers did most of the game last night, just attack with the ball. When the ball comes to you, just put your head down and drive it, because good things are usually going to happen.
Yeah.
Because you got 2 guys out on Russ, so you only have 3 to guard 4. Something good will happen. You can't shoot those threes because you're terrible from 3.
Did you see what LeBron has been doing to him? Did you see Friday night?
Well, Chris acted like LeBron's guarding everybody.
He is.
Oh, wow.
They
on defense, the other 4 should just rest.
They call him the Ed Reed.
Do they?
Go into that lane with the shot blocking.
Okay, so Russ is so screwed up. He drives to his left in the 4th quarter, does not know what to do, and at the last second decides, I'm going to shoot a little right-handed jump shot into the teeth of 6'9" coming from behind him. He is 6'3", and he got chased down in the lane by 6'9". I'm impressed, LeBron. Do it to Kawhi Leonard one night. Let's see if he can do that to Kawhi, and I'll be impressed.
Hey, Kawhi Leonard got bigger fish to fry. He need to worry about Jamal Murray. That's what he need to worry about. Don't worry about us.
Oh, I think we got this.
Yeah, okay.
I got Clippers in 5. What do you got?
Here's the other thing. What about playoff Rondo? He showed up. He got crushed after game 1.
Yes.
And he deserves some apologies from some folk because he was big. He helped them get that huge lead in the 2nd quarter. He was the reason Markieff was hitting all those shots or assisting on a lot of those buckets.
I agree. He was really good, and he better be really good because I still got the Rockets in game 3.
No mercy. NFL Sunday is back this week with a great slate of early games. Then it's a blockbuster in America's Game of the Week as Brady and the New Look Bucks take on Breeze and the Saints. Check local listings for the games in your area or watch it on the Fox Sports app. Getting close, guys. Jadeveon Clowney finally landed on a team over the weekend after reports that the Saints tried an all-out blitz to try a sign-and-trade deal to get the defensive end. The Titans ended up landing the 3-time Pro Bowler with a 1-year deal worth up to $15 million. So, Shannon, how big of a break was it for Brady and the Bucs that Clowney did not end up in New Orleans?
Well, Skip, I thought they caught a big break. The NFL put the kibosh on this because basically what they were trying to do, they were trying to trade a 2nd-round pick for cap space. The Cleveland Browns was going to give up was going to get a 2nd-round pick for $5 million to eat the $5 million. The NFL says, no, we got stipulations on how trades are supposed to work, and we don't want to open up Pandora's box. But, Skip, I thought Tampa Bay dodged a huge bullet for the simple fact you'd have been able to pair Jadeveon Clowney with Cam Jordan. Remember, they took Davenport in the 1st round, and they signed Zach Braun, the edge rusher out of Wisconsin. So, and plus, on the back end, you have Lattimore, who's been a Pro Bowl player. You have Malcolm Jenkins, who they got from the Eagles. And so, for me, I believe this would have put them over the top. But I'm not surprised that Jadeveon ended up going with the Tennessee Titans because his best year he had under the head coach, which was Mike Vrabel, who was the defensive coordinator in Tennessee. And plus, I get an opportunity to see you jokers that didn't believe in me, didn't think I was worth the money that I was asking for. So I get to see you twice a year. I think that plays a lot to do with Skip. That's always in the back of your mind because the team that drafted you, okay, you believed in me, and now when it came time to get my money, all of a sudden you didn't believe in me. I think Jadeveon overpriced himself, Skip. I know he fired his agent, Buzz Cook, but Skip, Buzz Cook was not going to get him $20 million for 3 sacks. To get that kind of money that he wants, you got to go put the quarterback on the ground a bunch. I believe he's a better run player than he is a pass rusher. But run players, they don't make $20 million per year, Skip. You give them guys premium dollars. You give the pass rushers premium dollars. But I thought Tampa dodged a huge bullet because to pair him with Cam Jordan and Davenport and Braun with that back end, that could have been problematic for Tom Brady. But kudos for the Titans for getting this deal done.
sometimes Super Bowl seasons are just meant to be. Sometimes you get breaks that you just don't see coming, and I didn't see this coming because when we left here Friday, all signs pointed to Clowney being a Saint.
Yep.
And they tried. They didn't have enough cap space to give him the money he wanted. Tennessee had more cap space. So the way I understood it is they wanted Cleveland to give him his signing bonus.
Right.
To sign him.
Right.
And then the salary would be intact and trade the salary for a second-round pick and maybe another player.
Correct.
Okay? And the NFL said, well, effectively, Cleveland, you're trying to buy a draft pick.
Correct.
You're just trying, with the signing bonus, you're saying, we'll pay X for a second-round pick.
You see that in baseball and basketball, Skip, because, you know, we'll do that for cash a player in cash considerations. NFL says,
So I agree with you. Clowney, as a Saint, would have been a difference maker in the NFC South.
Correct.
Now, he has gone to the AFC South, and it was not a good move. It was a great move by Vrabel and company, and obviously Vrabel was his position coach, Clowney's position coach in Houston when he had his best year. So they have a connection. So...
Wasn't he the DC also?
Yeah, but I mean, he coached
he coached him first. Yes.
So I think they're pretty close.
Yes,
and I think Clowney loves him and wants to play for him.
Well, especially Skip, if the money he wants, well, maybe I can get back in the defense I'm familiar with. He understands how to use me. I had 9.5. I was an all-pro. So maybe that would definitely help get the money that he wants, Skip. But to talk about, well, I'm going to reset the market, not with 3 sacks. Skip, he had 3 sacks. And
I'm still a big fan of his.
I am too.
He is a disruptor.
But you would think somebody with his kind of ability, Skip, you think about it, that the dude's 6'4.5", 255, can run 4.5, long arms. I mean, he's explosive. You would just expect him to be more of a pass rusher than what he's displayed over his career. But I believe he's more disruptive in the run game than he is the passing game.
Every time I turn on one of his games, I see him.
He's in the backfield.
I see him. And I think the quarterback's seeing him, and they're trying to double block him. And he just causes problems, and he would have caused the Bucs huge problems. And now he's only going to cause the Texans and Deshaun huge problems, probably. So now back to the Buccaneers. I believe they already have a top 10 defense, and I was a little shaky about the running back situation, and all of a sudden, Thursday night, they add Leonard Fournette. So they added him and got to keep him because that deal's signed, sealed, and delivered. And all of a sudden, Clowney can't be a Saint. He's a Titan. Well, that's a huge shift right there. So the spread right now on Sunday's game at New Orleans is Saints by 3.5, which is not much more than home field 3 points. So Vegas is basically saying it's kind of a...
But here's the thing, though, Skip. How much the thing is now, how much is home field going to play an advantage with no crowd? So now, I mean, really, we don't know. I mean, you factor in, you say 3.5, but if there's 10,000 people, or, you know, there's 5,000. I mean, some teams are not going to have any fans in the stand. So how much is it? Basically, you're going to be at practice with artificial crowd noise, but the NFL says, look, send us what you're going to be playing throughout the stadium. We're going to see if it matches up decimal-wise, and then we'll go from there because we don't want any funny shenanigans going on. But I think the thing is, Skip, we got to be careful because you're going to have some, you know, Jerry says, you know, we could have up to 35, 40,000. Well, how is that going to be fair? Well, one team can have 35, 40,000, and another team can have 0.
It won't be.
It needs to be uniformity. Either you can have 35, 40,000, or you can't. You can't say, well, you can do this, but they can't do that because of location. Where if you
play in the state of California, you're going to have no fans.
No fans. But if you play in the state of Texas or Florida, you could have up to X amount of fans. So somebody's gaining a competitive advantage in the NFL. That's why they implemented the cap, Skip. Because they didn't want teams that had a lot of money to be able to buy players like the Yankees or the Dodgers or the Red Sox.
So this was written in Pro Football Focus last Thursday. This was ahead of the Fournette acquisition and obviously ahead of the conclusion of where Clowney would play. So no Fournette, no Clowney on either side. And they concluded at Pro Football Focus, while the Saints are in the conversation for having the best roster in the NFL, so are the Buccaneers. And when it comes to the areas that matter most, give the slight edge to Tampa, Matters most, receiving unit and coverage unit. So they're saying now
I disagree with that.
Buccaneers, who
I
went
disagree with
7-9 last year, have a little better roster than the Saints do.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that. I don't think they have the advantage in the receiving game. I love Mike Evans. I love Godwin. But Mike Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders and Jerry Cook, they're right there.
You ever heard of this guy Gronkowski? You remember him?
But Skip, now he's been away for a year now. We're gonna have to see.
He's reunited with his soulmate.
Yeah, but we'll find out early on.
Yep.
I'm not gonna get too high with one game. I'm not gonna get too low with one game. I'm gonna see how it plays out because taking off for a year, that's a long time. That's a long time.
O.J. Howard runs 4.5 at like 270.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. For some reason, he's been in the doghouse.
Okay, well, I think he just exited.
Okay.
And a little Scotty Miller.
Oh, geez.
Scotty Miller got a little Amendola Elman going on, but they've split him out because he can fly. He might be lining up at wide receiver, getting deep.
He's going to be in the slot, Skip.
Yep.
He's going to be in the slot.
Watch.
Brady loves throwing to the slot. That's why Edelman and Amendola and Wes Welker and those guys, he loves the slot because he's not really pushing the ball down the field. Stop this notion that, oh, he's throwing the ball, he's bombs over back. No, he's not.
I cannot wait.
I can't either.
Sunday on Fox.
No mercy.
Well, after the Lakers, even their series against the Rockets yesterday, LeBron attributed the win to the team's ability to play different styles. LeBron said, quote, "We built the team to be able to play different ways. We have to play big versus teams, and we have to play small, and we have to play in between. We built that from the beginning, and we always had that in our toolbox." Shannon, reading between the lines here, what does this tell you?
Well, I think the thing is that, yes, they're one of the few teams, Skip, that start a true five. JaVale is a true five. You have Anthony Davis, who can play the five, who doesn't like to play the five because he don't like all that banging down there. He's more of a stretch. But you can also remove JaVale and you can come in with Kuzma. And you still have a guy that's 6'10" that can truly play the five, that can post up and things of that nature. Or you can go, play Keith Morris. So you have to be able, that's a great luxury to have because normally, Skip, when you build a football team, to play one way, you play that way. And if you're playing somebody that got a bunch of speed and you just big and slow, you just try to run over them. But in basketball, Skip, you have to be able to play a multitude of ways. And the Rockets are one of the only teams, Skip, they can only play one way because they only have guys that are 6'7" and below. So they can't play big. They can just play small, but the Lakers can.
You have Tyson Chandler sitting there. If they really, really want to, they could.
I don't know, Skip. I don't know if he can give them much more than what you and I can give them right now.
I don't know. I like Tyson.
They can play, think about it, Skip. We've seen times that they played Dwight and JaVale, or Dwight and AD, or when we see, obviously, they start the game with JaVale and AD. But that's a great luxury to have, to be able to play a lot of different ways. Even the Clippers, Skip, they start Zubats. But a lot of times they take Zubs out and then they come in and they'll play JaMychal Green and they'll play Patterson. So they play a lot of different styles. And LeBron says, no matter what style we play with, I'm still the quarterback. Whether I turn the ball, hand it off, or I got to throw for 400. I'm still your guy. So that's a great luxury to have. And he said, when we put this team together, us, Rob Pelinka, Jeannie, guys, myself, they ask me my opinion. I chime in, So that's a great luxury to have. But, Skip, you can't simulate a lot of things. In football, you don't have that luxury, Skip, because there's finality in the playoffs. That's a great luxury to have in basketball, to feel like game. You try to win. Obviously, you try to win. But you see what they're actually doing, how fast they are, the sets they want to run, and then you go from there. LeBron figured it out, what they need to do, how they need to play.
So this is what amuses me about this quote.
There you go.
If the Lakers win big, if LeBron wins big, then he's the co-GM. We built the team. We built that from the beginning, and we always had that in our toolbox. He is the co-GM. If LeBron loses, as he did Friday night, if you'd ask him the same question, he'd be like,
no, he didn't. He told you what happened.
Man,
he said, no. What the game one? Everybody knows my history, my past is like a feel-like game. But the one thing that we could not simulate was how fast they actually are, how quick they actually are. He said that, Skip. You heard him say that.
I did. I'm going to guess that off the record on Friday night, if the reporters who have known him for a long time had pulled him aside and asked him what was the problem, he'd say, well, I need a backup. I need some rest because Rondo was a disaster.
He was terrible.
Okay? So, again, the point is, if they lose, then the GM didn't get me enough help. But he will jump in to say he's the co-GM, which you scoff at me and laugh at me for saying he is the co-coach and the co-GM.
Just like Kawhi. Because why is Paul George in L.A.? Because Kawhi Leonard requested that he be there.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend. See, the problem that I push back on you is that you want to make it seem like LeBron had unique powers that no other superstar, the Magic Johnsons, the Larry Birds, the Michael Jordans, did not have. And that's not true. Kawhi Leonard said he would come to the Clippers if they got Paul George. So is that not GM-ish?
No, that's not GM-ish. That's a master plan that he had in place since the day he walked out the door in San Antonio and quit on my Spurs.
Skip.
I got a layover in Toronto, then I'm going to go to L.A., but everybody thinks I'm going to join LeBron and AD. Nope. I'm going to the team in the basement.
It's easy.
But I got to finagle a co-star, so I'll try for Jimmy Butler, and then I'll go and get
Let me ask you a question. If Sam Presti says we're not trading Paul George, is Kawhi Leonard back in Toronto, or is he with the Lakers or the Clippers? You and I both know he was going to the Lakers until he got a co-star.
Yep.
And I got no problem with that. So don't make it seem like this was a master plan. He did not know because he didn't go to Paul George first. He went to Kyrie, free agent. He went to Kevin Durant, free agent. He went to Jimmy Butler, free agent.
Yep.
So he did not know that Paul George was going to be made available. So this master plan, stop it.
Well, he did. I got to get somebody else from somewhere to join me, or I give up. I will stay here, or I'll join LeBron and AD. But I don't think he ever wanted to play with LeBron. He wants to beat LeBron, so he probably would have stayed put in Toronto.
I don't think so. But anyway, the thing is, LeBron says, I just need to be able to get some rest. He played some rest. He played about 40 minutes last night, Skip. And as you mentioned, Rondo was not very good. And if you notice, Skip, a lot of times when they had wide open threes and guys started running at them, you see KCP put the ball on the floor, try to get to the mid-range game. You see Rondo did that a couple of times also. You don't have to look. If you're wide open for a reason. They're saying you self-check.
Okay, but LeBron is taking credit for the scramble mode that they had to go in with Rob Pelinka trying to say who's left that market.
Yes.
And they got Danny Green and they got Marquis.
Right.
And who else? There's a couple other, bit part players.
Yeah.
But they put together a pretty good basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
they got Dwight.
Right. They ended up Dion Waiters late this season. They signed JR.
Yep.
I mean, but that's what you have to do, Skip. I mean, you have a plan. Okay, we believe we're going to be able to get Kawhi. That plan falls apart. You just can't say, what the hell with the whole thing. You got to try to fill in the rest of your roster.
Okay, did LeBron play a part in those acquisitions or not?
I don't know.
I think it's a big yes on your part.
Know.
You know it, and I know it. I'm giving him total credit.
I don't want to speculate.
I say he built the toolbox. So if they lose, you have to also accept the blame for the toolbox you built. You can't then tell me we don't have enough shooting. Well, you did it. You built the toolbox.
Well, Skip, here's the thing. You have to build something out of materials that are available to you. I can't build a brick house if I'm in the forest with only trees. So you have to make a log cabin. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but what did he say about Quinn Cook? As good a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter as there is in the league.
Is he in the bubble?
Well, he's there.
Because he didn't even make the sheet last night.
Yeah. The one game against Indiana late in the seed games.
Yeah, he played well,
He played well.
So,
played big fourth-quarter minutes.
Look, I'm not saying Rondo needs to, play like, but Rondo needs to be able to give LeBron some rest. Skip, here's the thing. If they're up and down, Rondo works really well with LeBron because he can handle the ball and that takes LeBron after the ball. LeBron can fill the lane. Okay. But when in the half-court set, LeBron needs snipers. He needs to be able to shoot somebody and then have them pick you off. That's not what Rondo is.
No, but Danny Green can be.
Yes, yes.
KCP can be.
Yes,
right.
But can we get? I mean, KCP played well the other night, but last night he didn't do too much. Danny Green made a couple of big threes.
He did.
The foul and
he's back on your good side now.
And Kuzma. See, the thing is with Kuzma, Skip, is that what he needs to understand. Okay, I'm not saying that you're going to be an in-the-chair defender, but if you're not giving, you can't be that big of a liability defensively if you're not giving us anything offensively, like Friday night. He was terrible on both ends of the court, and you can't be that.
Okay. So I just want to give LeBron complete credit for being.
No, I know I know what you're trying to do, but I'm not going to let you. No. Rob Pelinka is the executive. Rob Pelinka put this team together.
LeBron should be executive of the year.
No.
His toolbox.
No.
Right? Way to go, LeBron.
No.
I'm putting it out there.
I know what you're trying to.
We built.
I know you built. Skip. That's what you say. Yeah. We, us, team.
Oh.
Yes. Oh. We're a great team. You know, when people ask me, I didn't put the team together.
You'd say, Rob Pelinka did it.
Nobody say that. No, Skip. When you always hear players say, we got a great team, we did this, we did that, because it's talking about collectively. That's what we did. That's
when the Spurs talk about their great team, they say, R.C. Buford did a phenomenal job of putting this team together.
Well, first of all, don't nobody talk, because don't nobody want to hear anything anybody got to say, because they don't have any players that nobody's listening to.
When Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili were there. It's always about R.C. Buford.
Well, all you had to do was, once you got Duncan...
Tim Duncan never said, we built.
Skip, once you got Duncan...
Yeah.
Everything else just fell into place.
Are you a part of the Lakers group as well, Shannon?
You know, we had a little thing. You know, they had old goat had a fur coat on last night. I may or may not have been in the photo. Had AD. Yeah, AD.
I think you were actually in the front row, and I didn't know you guys were that close.
Me and LeBron, AD, Kuz.
Okay, well, you put that together very well. Guys.
No mercy.
Well, according to the latest reports out of Boston, some Patriots players thought it was better that Tom Brady left the team. The report mentions Brady's gloomy attitude starting at the end of the 2018 season, taking a toll on the locker room. There was a feeling that a vibe change was needed if Brady's mood stayed the same. Shannon, do you agree it was time for Tom Brady to move on?
Well, I think in Tom's mind and in Coach Belichick's mind, it was time. Skip, I think... And even last year when Gronk was on our show, he showed a clip of Tom sitting on the sideline, and it looked like he was sulking. It looked like he was in a bad mood. And he was like, Tom, the other guys see you doing that. They're going to do that. Pick your head up. Show some charisma. Become engaged. And I think the thing is, Skip, it's hard. Okay, you come to work. You already know Coach Belichick's going to ride you. It'd be a jerk. And then the guy that's in the locker room that you look to as a light, the beacon, you expect him to be upbeat. Skip, I think something for me, every day I went to work, and sometimes every day is not going to be perfect. You know that. You've been working for 40 years all your life. You know every day is not going to be, but you got to put on that perception. You got to put on that face like everything's okay. I've been having the greatest time of my life in the world. And maybe Tom came to the realization, he had an epiphany. You know what? Coach Belichick just going to be a jerk to me as long as I'm here. And I think I've had it about up to here as much as I can take. And I can no longer put on that happy face. To come in here and, well, Tom's upbeat. It can't be that bad. At some point in time, enough is enough. And I think Tom had even everybody has a breaking point, Skip. And I think it started to grind him down. And the guys started to see that it's grinding him down. And the negativity started to seep into the locker room. And it's like, man, something needs to change. Coach Belichick ain't going anywhere. But at least, Skip, Coach Belichick, I only see Coach Belichick in a meeting room occasionally and on the practice field. I'm always around Tom, and Tom is doom and gloom now. And so, although they know what Tom represents, Skip, it's just hard when someone is negative. We've been around people, Skip, that like, damn, dude, I was having a good day till you walked into the room. He like that little cloud of dust, like Pigpen.
Yep.
No matter where Pigpen went, he had a little cloud of dust around him.
Yep.
He put a nice outfit on, it's still a cloud of dust. And I think maybe that started to wear on Tom. But I am a little surprised, Skip, because that is Tom Brady. He has done a lot. A lot of you guys got rings because of Tom Brady. And y'all should show a little bit more gratitude to that. I don't care if he came in and dumped all his clothes, dumped everybody's clothes out of the bag on the floor.
Okay, so my question about this report is...
Yes.
how could Tom Brady not be, to use the word from the report, dour? How could he not come in starting over the second half of the 2017 season when he knew his coach tried to get rid of him?
That was the beginning, yep.
And then remember what happened, that he ended up, he slid his thumb open in a freak accident on the practice field. You think it was something else.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but he said it was freak on the practice field. It required surgery on Wednesday evening, 25 stitches to close it up. He throws for 138 just in the fourth quarter to bring them back from 20-10 down to Jacksonville in the AFC Championship game 4 days after surgery on his throwing thumb.
Right.
And they win the game, and Belichick dismisses the effort as it wasn't exactly open heart surgery. Well, to a quarterback on his throwing end, it was sort of the equivalent of open heart surgery.
If you're a right-handed quarterback, anything on that right arm is surgery.
And then he goes to that Super Bowl and throws for a all-time playoff record, 505, and they lose 41-33. Don't get me started on what happened with Malcolm Butler in the defense.
Right.
But then he comes out here a couple of months later, does a sit-down with Jim Gray out in Santa Monica, and he's asked, do you think the Patriots have shown you, Belichick and Kraft, the appropriate gratitude? And he said, I plead the fifth. You do?
He probably wanted to say what Coach Mr. Kraft had, but not Coach,
okay.
not
All
Coach
right.
Belichick.
And then Jim asked him, are you happy? And Tom Brady said, I have my moments.
Right.
Well, that's the beginning of the end right there. Tom Brady said that?
Well, Skip, you know what really started this? This started with Deflategate. Coach Belichick threw Tom up under the bus.
That's true.
All he had to do was say, guys.
Point. I agree.
Skip, you got to ask Tom about that. I don't know about no balls.
Called his own media session
Yes.
on the Saturday before they left for the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And remember, he gave the whole explanation.
Yes. My cousin Vinny.
Yeah, my cousin Vinny, what's his name, Vito.
Yeah.
Mona.
Yep, Mona Lisa.
Yeah. But he's given the thing about, don't ask me, ask my quarterback.
Right.
Really? Okay.
You didn't have to say that. Say, look, we play by the rules. The balls are inflated how they are. We don't know anything. I mean, you don't say, ask my quarterback.
Right. So he goes on, and then he completes the 3 straight 3rd and 10 for conversions in Kansas City, and then they go win another Super Bowl after that.
Right.
And then last year, I kept saying it felt sabotagey to me. It just felt like flat-out sabotage because, remember, Pro Football Focus wrote last week that most of the issues from Brady's 2019 stem from his receivers and the fact they just couldn't get open. That ranked the New England receiving corps as the worst in Brady's tenure in New England since they've started back in 2006. So the point is, he cut Josh Gordon, still afloat in Seattle now, and Antonio Brown flamed out himself after about a minute, and then they go get Mohamed Sanu, who's a complete bust, and he's now cut this year.
Right.
Well, Brady's saying, I don't have anybody to throw to here. Yeah, you're going to start hanging your head after a while.
And the thing was, Skip, Tom is like, I don't really know what else I can do for you guys to give me the extension so I finish my entire career here.
Yeah.
Because just like y'all gave me an extra $8 million, and Skip and Tom said, well, you can't franchise me. Coach Belichick was not going to franchise Tom. Coach Belichick was not about to put no $34 million into a quarterback. That's not how he operates, Skip. You know Coach Belichick is, they cut Gostkowski. They draft the kicker high in the 4th or 5th round, and they cut him. Coach Belichick says, I don't care who you are. You come in, you compete. If you don't compete, you gone.
Yep.
I'm surprised. I'm not. Because once you started hearing the rumblings that he wanted to move in a different direction, Skip, the writing was on the wall. And Tom Brady, the more accomplished you are, the more pride you have. And he's like, man, this joker tried to, after all I've accomplished, 3 MVPs, because at that time he had won 4 Super Bowls. And the dude was trying to trade me for, no matter what Jimmy did while I was absent, that's still unproven.
I agree.
That was the writing on the wall for me. And they released that statement, a joint statement, Mr. Kraft, Coach Belichick, and Tom Brady. We've had unparalleled success and yada, yada, yada. But you know and everybody else knew the writing was on the wall.
Okay, so how can you not be happy for Tom Brady now? He's got his best receiving corps he's ever had in 20 years.
Yes.
And he just added Leonard Fournette. And did you see what Leonard posted on social media?
I saw a picture of him.
Yeah.
Did we see that?
I loved it.
Look at that. Look at that. Oh, Tommy. Way to go. Lenny.
And they took a photo of him and Tom together.
Oh, don't forget Bruce is in the back there, too.
Yeah. How cute is that? That's what just happened. He's happy. It's Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
The team's got everything he ever wanted in New England.
But even doom and gloom, Skip, I mean, that's still Tom. Tom, let him, maybe he didn't get a good night's sleep. Maybe the kids were restless or something. Get a man a break.
Okay. I just think the New England players are going to have to get over it and go forward with Cam Newton.
Oh, yeah, Cam, keep that thing high. You see Cam be out there,
I saw that. Right, here we go.
No mercy.
Big rivalries. The Big 12 is back on Fox. Start your Saturday strong at 10 a.m. Eastern with the Big Noon Kickoff Show, followed by the Big Noon Game of the Week as Louisiana Tech takes on Baylor on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Guys, I'm going to be there, so make sure you are tuning in. All right, the Lakers, well, they were able to even up their series against the Rockets last night after dropping Game 1. LeBron and Anthony Davis combined for over 60 points in the Game 2 win, and now will look to take the series lead against Houston tomorrow night. So, Shannon, I start with you. Who wins Game 3? Who you got?
Skip, well, we see the recipe is somewhere between AD and LeBron getting 60, 65 points, having about 20, 25 rebounds, and probably about 13, 14 assists. LeBron normally has 9 to 10. AD chips in with 3 or 4. So that's the recipe. But I do believe they'll win. The question is, Houston's going to take somewhere between 45 and 63s a game. The question is, what's going to be their percentage of makes? 22 is an awful lot. They almost made as many threes as the Lakers took as an entire team. Okay. Let that sink in. And they weathered that barrage. Do you believe they will make 22 threes again? I don't, Skip. I don't. And so I'm going to say they're going to win. LeBron will control the tempo again, and AD will continue to do what he's doing, and that's punish. When they put P.J. Tucker on him individually, punish him. If they get Gordon, punish him. James Harden, punish him. That's what you're going to have to do. And as I mentioned before, I don't know the extent of the seriousness of JaVale's ankle, but I thought moving forward, you were going to see less and less of true fives from the Lakers in this series. And you'll see Kuzma get more minutes. You'll see Keith Morris get more minutes. And deservedly so, because you need someone that can space the floor, that can hit shots, but can also defend on the perimeter. And those two guys just are not able to do that. So I like what I'm seeing. Rondo did what he's supposed to have done. We good. We got this one.
You got this one? What, by 20, 25?
We got 2 cases.
2 cases?
A due on this one.
We'll decide that tomorrow. But right now, right here, I've already predicted Lakers in 7. I'm sticking by that. And I believe the Rockets will win Game 3. But the key to that is Russell Westbrook. He is a superstar. He's still only 31 years of age, which is the same as James Harden is. And he has momentarily lost it. In the bubble, in 5 playoff games, he has lost it, shooting 39% from the field and 17% from 3. He has to get his act back together. He is a proud warrior, and I believe he will figure out how to do this, but he's going to have to swallow that pride with shooting threes.
But Russell's 31-year-old body is different than James Harden's 31-year-old body. I mean, he has a lot more wear and tear, a lot more explosive, a more fast twitch. He's had some surgery on those knees that Harden has not had yet.
That's true. By the way, James Harden still looks a little pudgy to me, but it doesn't.
Big quarantine. It's quarantine.
Yeah. Is it quarantine?
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother him a bit.
No.
He's still got slither. He can still get by people.
He's like, I don't need all the muscles. He said, I don't need a whole bunch of muscles to shoot this 3 on you.
Nope, he does not. I believe Russell Westbrook will come to grips with, I can't quit missing 3-point shots. He was 1 of 5 in that Friday night game and 1 of 7 yesterday. 2 for 12 is exactly what the Rockets shot in the fourth quarter from 3. They can't shoot 2 for 12 from 3 in the fourth quarter, and I don't believe they will. I think they can still bother the Lakers with their defense. It's hard. I keep telling you, it's like there are 8 Rockets playing defense at one time, and I believe on offense, They will figure out how, if you want to jump double James Harden at midcourt, just bounce it over to Russ and let him go to work in the attack mode. Attack, it's 4-on-3, and Russell can tear that apart. And if he has to march to the free throw line, he's got to make more than 47%, and I believe he's capable of making 75%.
But Skip, if you look at in the third quarter, the Rockets made 13 of 19 shots. They were 9 of 13 from the three.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers were 9 of 20, 2 of 6 from the three, and 3 of 8 from the free throw line.
Markieff Morris made 4 threes in the second quarter,
yeah.
right?
Y'all made 9 of 13.
Okay, is Keith going to make 4 more for you? If you're right about that, you got me. I lose.
We need that. We just need to hit them couple. We just need to keep them honest.
Really?
And then when you keep them honest, y'all try to run them out there. The LeBron gets seams. Dunk.
Really?
Yep.
I don't think he's going to be dunking like that again. And by the way, Jeff Green has been a very valuable piece coming off the bench for this team, and I don't know if he was lost last night.
That's Jeff Green. That's been his entire career. I remember when Jeff was in Cleveland, when he was in Boston. That's his career. He has ebbs and flows like this, and this is what you get with role players. They have ebbs and flows. You'll see Kuzma. You see how well Kuzma played last night? Look how poorly he played the other night. That's what happens, and you just have to live with that.
It'll be another tight game, and the Rockets will make 5 or 6 threes in the fourth quarter as opposed to 2 of 12.
And LeBron, ain't no telling. And LeBron might have an explosion. He might go for 20 in the fourth.
Well, he was celebrating at the end of the game. It's a clutch jumper to put them up 8 with 32 seconds left.
You're a hater.
He's over there just... I thought the whole series was over.
But you saw this. You remember that movie hit on Jaylen Brown? Now, when Jaylen Brown dunked on him, you came out here, you just kept showing video after video. He said, I'm going to get him back. He said, I ain't going to dunk on him, but I'm going to get him back. And what'd he do? Fall away from the Raptors. Jack would have been proud watching that one.
Really?
Yep.
I think he's going to have a long night tomorrow night.
Trip dub. Trip dub. Trip dub.
Well, Kawhi almost had one on Saturday night.
14 of 17.
Yeah. 4 of 17.
4 of 17, Skip. 0 points in the fourth quarter.
Okay, that shows you how empty a stat the trip dub is, because he almost had one.
Yeah, he's getting all his misses. He getting all the misses. He should have. He missed 13 shots, so he chasing them down. He got 6 rebounds off that.
Rockets go up 2-1. Here we go.
All right. Well,
put them doing it then.
I got it right the first time. But I love watching LeBron. When he's feeling it and like the Caruso-LeBron connection, I enjoy it.
No mercy.
Guys, Jamal Murray and the Nuggets have an opportunity to go up 2-1 on the Clippers tonight if they can keep momentum going from Saturday's Game 2 Denver win. But according to Fox Bet, the Clippers are now 8.5-point favorites in Game 3. So, Shannon, who wins tonight?
I got the Clippers. I expect them to bounce back.
You do?
I do.
After all that abuse you heaped on Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah.
How can you pick the Clippers?
He can't play any worse than what he can. Can he play worse than that back-to-back game?
Well, you were.
I mean, you ever seen Braun play?
About what the Nuggets did to him.
Oh, they did to him. They did a number on him. But Skip, look, they'll be more focused. I mean, sometimes you have success with a team, you beat them. You're like, this is gonna be easy, and then the other team comes out and they don't miss they hit like their first 8, 9, 10 shots, and the next thing you know, you're down 15. You got a timeout, and they cut it to 5. But I got the Clippers. Fox Bet says 8.5. I'm going to 1.5 high. I say they win by 10.
You do? After all you crushed Kawhi with today?
He deserved it.
Really? Well, then put your do where your mouth is. You can have I'll give you the spread then. You want the spread?
I'll think about it tomorrow. Let me sleep on it.
Well, you have to do it right now. The game's tonight.
I'll text you.
You will?
Yeah, I'll text you.
I got the Clippers. I said they will win this series in 5 games, and I still believe it will be in 5. They will come out in attack mode in the first quarter the way they did Saturday night in quarter 2, 3, and 4. When they won those 3 quarters, 76-60.
Give me 10.
Nope.
Give me 10.
Nope.
10 for a case of do right now.
Nope.
10 for a case of do.
I told
You say Kawhi coming out aggressive, he can't have back-to-back bad games?
That is it for us. We are back same time tomorrow morning. We will definitely talk about that game. Have a good day, guys.